Good morning. I wanted to, I'm going to talk 10 points in 5 minutes. So this is such an exciting topic, and what a great venue. Wow. I need to come to these forums more often. I wanted to just ask the question, how secure is secure? Are we secure enough? I mean, you know, there's as the general mentioned, that it's all about what the mission wants, and a lot of us who have come through the ranks in terms of our security expertise, and you know, we have all these credentials and everything else. But at the end of the day, there's perfection, and you know, what's good enough, and what's right for the mission. So that is something I think we need to look at, and look at the definitions. And I would wait for Dr. Ron Ross, who is an expert in this area as well. And he's got some very, very interesting views that I fully support in terms of looking at risk-based approaches as opposed to looking at everything which is full compliance and perfection that we've been doing in the past. In that second point that I'd like to make is, what is the definition of IT security? Everything calls, you know, we all call it IT security, but really it was information assurance to some of us purists, and we can even go into some of those definitions. And now the new word is cybersecurity, you know, so I'm not sure. There must be a cyborg collective that come next or something where we're going to look at all these different worlds and everything is connected. Well, there's actually security things to worry about that are not cyber connected, but also have just as much information assurance challenges, anything from social engineering to all kinds of other things that we looked at. So that's also a definitional issue where I think there's a lot of people with some ideas as to what they are, and I really encourage us to make that definition more clearly understood and more consistent so that there's a context and a content and a value, as the previous speaker talked about. And what I'm going to talk about, it's all about the info, is one of my themes that I'll be getting towards. Third is all perspectives that we bring in. So my background is I'm an engineer, I'm trained as a manager, I've got all this background in security. I was in the Boeing company, I was in NASA. Even NASA has got 3 or 4 domains. There's a space station group, there's a shuttle group that's far more secure, there's a scientist group which talks about sharing all the information. It's all about how their different perspectives are. So I learned that through the time. And then I was at the Justice Department in the FBI. And security has a whole new meaning when you're polygraphed, and you have to go through all these different things, and you're watched at all times. And I looked at things from a different world. My perspective was I was looking at spies around every corner. There's no way in hell I was going to put anything on Facebook, and Facebook wasn't invented by then, or put myself even on the internet, because we were always targets. And we wanted to make sure, and it was amazing what you could find about yourself just on the internet, by the way. Try it out sometime. It's pretty scary. So from that world, in the intelligence community and the law enforcement world, I had a whole different perspective on security and cybersecurity and the classified enclaves and the unclassified enclaves. And what was someone's unclassified enclaves was our sensitive but unclassified enclave, now called controlled unclassified information. And now I'm in Interior Department, and Interior also has a whole different view on security. We have anything from pure open to sensitive information. So again, my point to you is that it's all about perspectives. I was there on a Friday where Robert Hansen, remember him, was in a staff meeting sitting over there, four chairs down, and nobody knew. And then on Monday, all of us came in, and he was the second biggest spy in the history of our country. And we were shocked, but it was a compartmented operation, and things were done a certain way, and we brought him down. And I had a whole new appreciation for what the insider threat is all about. So I would say to you, perspectives. The fourth area I'd like to bring about is a discussion on roles, responsibilities, and authorities. There is obviously, I am the CIO. I'm also the Senior Agency Official for Privacy. I'm also the Chief FOIA Officer. We also do data.gov, and I'm also on the Architecture Infrastructure Committee of the Federal CIO Council. From all these perspectives, I've come to realize one thing. And the one thing is that in the government, we got a lot of regulations. I didn't need all of that to find that out, but I did. And I also realized that we don't have enough funding to comply with everything, with all the unfunded mandates and all these regulations. So there has to be something where I got to look at that. And the roles, responsibilities, and authorities cannot be just limited to the CIO shop, and cannot be just limited to a cybersecurity division. There has to be a concept of an extended neighborhood watch. It's all about tools, it's all about processes, it's all about people and organization. And the more further we can extend this, the better our cybersecurity posture is. So what's in it for them? I think is a key area that we need to look at. And there has to be a concept of priorities and resources, right? Everything can't be number one, and that's the challenge. Number 5, to date, our approaches have been castle and moat, network and system-centric, defense in depth. It's all about what we talk about is setting up mechanisms from a system perspective and network perspective. I would submit to you that those days are gone. It's all about the info. It's all about the info, and info is what changes every day. There's a law of entropy that happens every day, and it's all about, as the general mentioned, and is all about information, and some information is sensitive and some information is not. And oh, by the way, data doesn't stay at rest. It stays in motion all the time. And data becomes information when it becomes a context, as Patricia Siebold has mentioned. So it's all about the info. So we should focus on information. So with that, things have changed. From 9/11, there was a certain focus, protect everything, share what you must. The Open Government Directive is open everything, and the AG guidelines open everything and only protect what you must. So that's a different change. The federal CIO under CIO.gov and the WhiteHouse.gov has talked about faster, smarter cybersecurity, that while we have all these new things going on, we're still a nation under attack, so we need to please look at this blog. So as I looked at all this, my 6th point to you is it's all about the threats. The threats have increased in volume. They've increased in sophistication. They're more targeted into what they're going after, like, for example, credential information or bank information or so on and so forth. And they know exactly what they're going after, and we don't have to worry about the outsiders. I mean, we do, and we know where they are, and they're pretty sophisticated, in some case state-sponsored and so on and so forth. But really, what we got to worry about is the insider as well. There's some motivations for that in a changing economy, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's people are unhappy. So the insider is actually worse. I think a DoD study even said that, and a lot of other studies have said that. So we need to get away from compliance to continuous real-time monitoring. We probably should have a cybersecurity anonymous, like Alcoholics Anonymous, and have people who are recovering from all this constant attack that we're in amongst the regulations and everything we got to do. And I'll be the first to join that if someone sets that up. The next point is the gospel. We all interpret the gospel a certain way. The gospel is the NIST standards, and I'm just telling you, and as an quote unquote expert, and you know what an expert is, right? X is has been, and spurt is a drop in the ocean. Thank you. I realize how much I don't know. Every time I think I know something, I find out that I really don't know it. Under the NIST, there's 17 control families in the NIST, one of the pubs, for example. They've been translated into over 1,000 to 2,000 policies and procedures in some agencies, who shall go unnamed. There's also the things that Dr. Ross has been doing, and there's also the Federal CIO Council ICIMIC work and the AIC work, and the OMB M10-15 memo that's come out. We got to figure out a way to balance all this stuff. My God, it's a lot of stuff. And someone's got to say, wait a second, are we still doing the compliance, and also we're going to move to the continuous monitoring, or we got to do both? So it's all about, to Dr. Ross's point as well, it's all about risk-based information assurance is what we're going after. And that, to me, is one of the approaches that in Interior, we've started a new program under the DOI Innovations and Efficiencies team to go away from some of the compliance things and go away to move towards this risk-based information security services. But I would submit to you that somewhere we also got to get some relief. Our resources are really taxed. We need some relief into compliance, just compliance versus some of the new things that we got to do. So I'll wrap up with this one point. It's all about the information. And information in the intelligence community and law enforcement community, DoD and others, are well defined in terms of data classification, handling caveats. There's the new thing called the COI, which is coming out. There's a presidential memo apparently coming out, which is control unclassified information, one way to define everything. Portion marking, data can be portion marked and then openly shared, and part of it is open, is closed. We don't have that in most of the civilian agencies. There's no marking. So everything, so what people do is, guess what they do? They just mark everything. You know what? Mark the whole damn thing. And just, put one on top and one at the bottom, and we're done with it. Oh, good, we're secure. No, don't secure that. Release that. So there's this good policy tug of war that's going on. And so I think this legacy information that we got, I don't know, we got more than many petabytes, and we got to find a way to do that. So in closing, I'll just say the law of entropy happens every day. Nature finds a way. Nature abhors a vacuum. New technologies are coming in, the Data Center Consolidation Initiative, the Federal Data Center Consolidation Initiative, the new cybersecurity going away from compliance to the new risk-based approaches and continuous monitoring real time, the Open Government Directive, social media. We all know the threats on social media. We know it. But it's a law of entropy. It's happening. We better deal with it and find a way to get people involved in that and look at records and look at privacy, look at all the other things that we're supposed to look at also. So it's a continuous improvement battle, change or be changed, and that is my message of the day. Thank you.